morning and welcome to our special episode tonight. But before we bring on the amazing Kira from Kimbra, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor tonight, which is Image by Courtney. Courtney Robinson is a passionate speaker and personal stylist, boasting 7 years of global leadership experience. She's dedicated to empowering women leaders by cultivating poise and presence. Collaborating with individuals, groups, and organizations, Courtney delivers tailored personal brand solutions that enhance authenticity and boost confidence. In addition to her prowess in style and leadership, Courtney is a beacon of resilience. Drawing from her journey of living with brain tumors and navigating stroke recovery, she uniquely integrates fashion and style as potent tools for self-care. She adamantly guides women to embrace their best selves, conquer imposter syndrome, and synchronize their image with their passions. Definitely go over to imagebycourtney.com today and go check out what Courtney has to offer. She's an amazing lady. She's actually been on our show as well. Go check her out. Promise you will not be disappointed. All right. Now I have the distinct pleasure of bringing Kira to the screen.
Hello.
Hello, madam, and how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to do this tonight.
I'm excited too. We don't usually do this show at 7 Eastern, but tonight was something special that I don't know about you, but as a small business owner, there's a lot to be said about community and people, having your back, keeping you on track for your goals and things like that. But before we get into the nuggets of that, I would really love for you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Yeah, thanks, Dorothy. I actually, as we were coming on, I was like, let me write a list of the things that I do. So I either don't forget anything, or if I'm leaving anything out, it's actually a choice, right? Well, first and foremost, in my mind, I am a mom. Right now, I am a mom. I am a mom of a toddler and an infant. And that's a huge surprise in my life. That was not something that I had a plan to do in my younger years. And I have found a way to make it work inside of my next up serial entrepreneurship. So really, my identity is so rooted inside of entrepreneurship. I've owned my own business since I was 25. I'm 41 today. And so basically my entire adult life has been spent inside of self-employment. I honestly thought that corporate culture, I don't know a thing about it. And so it's really interesting to consider that that's a very different experience from many people. But yes, I started owning businesses, and I started starting businesses and owning them when I was 25 years old and never looked back. I've owned 6 of them. I own and operate 3 of them right now. One of them is 17 years old, and it's called Comfy Fitness. And inside of that company, we do restorative movement, where I specialize in conscious fitness and strength, and somatic movement. And so I help people release a lot of subconscious hidden tension in their bodies. And I do that through the lens of movement. So that's my specialty. What does that help people with? Things like chronic pain, things like emotions that are possibly being held, that are blocking you from doing XYZ, right? One of the things that I discovered when I was younger was my need to defend everything that I believed in. Like if someone differed from me, this defending would come up, right? And through somatic movement and releasing some of that unconscious tension, where your body is basically running the show, allowed me to actually relax that repeated reaction, and my relationships have completely changed, since doing that, right? And so that's what I do inside of Comfy Fitness, comfyfitness.com, and that's one of my businesses, 17 years old. And then I also own Kimbra. Kimbra, we started back in 2018, I believe. We didn't really even know what our product was going to be when we started Kimbra. which is hilarious. But today, like, it has become a thing that I don't even, I mean, I imagined it, but you know how you imagine things and then you're like, that can't really happen though. Right. Right.
Yeah.
You're like, you visualize, you're like, yeah, but that underneath thing is like still there. And it's like, you know, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. The people who come into our communities are so dedicated to their own success and to just the flourishing of other people. And it's something like that I don't get to experience often. And so I love Kimbra. That's what I'm here to talk about today. And I won't get, too into the weeds about how it all started, but it's just beautiful. And really what it is it's community spaces that help people who are creatives or who are entrepreneurial, help them expand their resources of money, time, and people. And we do that through accountability, right? So if you've ever heard yourself say, God, I just need some accountability. Kimbra's where you need to be. That's what we do. And we do it through community. We do it through compassionate, loving community, right? Not like, why didn't you get this done? You said you would do this, and now I'm going to like make you feel bad about it. Nothing like that, right? It's just incredibly loving community where you get to represent yourself to like your commitment and who you are and what you want. And if it changes, it changes. But we do it through so much exploration, right? Because we do it through a ritualistic practice that really allows you to show up again and again and again, right? And the more you show up for yourself in that sort of capacity, the faster you can pivot, the faster you can pivot, the faster you can pivot. And I hope that today, in the little nugget that I give y'all, that's what you'll get. So that's Kimbra. That's my second business. I just started as a brand ambassador with an incredible new supplement company. The supplements are off the chain, completely 100% plant-based, doing studies in epigenetics, how they're like actually changing you at the level of DNA, right? Crazy stuff, cellular absorption, crazy, all that stuff. So that's 3 International. I'm a brand ambassador for that. So those are the 3 sort of moving, shaking organisms that I own and operate and do. I also am a political organizer and activist in the city of Chicago, and I've done that since 2009. I've been with the People's Lobby and Reclaim Chicago for 8 years now, and I do leadership inside of that organization. I help train inside of phone banking and canvassing, going door to door. I've rung thousands of doorbells. I've called probably tens of thousands of people. I've been arrested on several occasions for political reasons. And goodness, everything in between. I've lobbied in Springfield. I've gone to DC and done a lot of protesting there. If you ever want to talk to me about that, reach out to me, please. I'm into it. So, political organizer and activist, and have been doing it for a long ass time. All right, and then am I allowed to curse? Is that okay on this show?
That's
because
okay.
I
That's
curse
okay.
a lot.
That's okay.
And just a warning ahead of time. It might slip. I'll try to control myself. Okay. And then also something that I've done for a long time, and now I'm sort of like an OG, sort of like, person that helps run everything. I don't know if I do it anymore yet or not. And that is, I'm a champion mud wrestler in Chicago. So mud wrestling in Chicago is a decades-long tradition. And I'm part of a league called the Mud Queens of Chicago. It's been around since 2003. I started in the league in 2009. I own 2 belts where I was the undefeated champion for 2 years, 2016, 2017. And I'm kind of
Isn't that where you met your husband too?
That is, it is. Yes. My husband helped start the league. And so we met when I joined. But I was with another guy at the time, and I was with that guy for a long time. And so my husband and I didn't actually end up like going on our first date until 2014. So yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So that's about me. I think I have a lust for life. I love having fun. I love parties. I love people. I'm an extreme extrovert. And yeah, there you go.
I love all of that. And as you can tell with Kira's energy, this is what you're going to get when you get inside the Kimbra. This is like when she does her time bender rituals, it is absolutely off the charts. And Kira brings that extra energy. That's just an added bonus. You don't have to pay extra for the energy, that she brings to the table.
The entertainment, it's energy and entertainment, right? And oversharing way too much. Okay. So.
I love that though, and it's funny because maybe that's why I get along so well in that community, because, that is, it's funny because I was on a Joy Found Here podcast the other day, and I'm listening to it. I never usually go back and listen to the ones that I'm on, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh my God, I've never been that abrupt before. Meaning like, I just, whatever, like it was out there and things that I'm like, oh shit.
Jump in right here.
What if certain people actually get a hold of this? And not that what I said, nothing that I said was not true. But I was just like, man, I've never been that free in my speaking, because I always feel like I have to, be polite, and not that I wasn't polite, but I was just open more than I ever have been. And I'm just like, oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Well, I did political punditry for 4 years, online, week after week after week, and I like very similar experiences, right? Where you go back and you're listening and you're just like, oh shit, like maybe I shouldn't have said that, right? Like was that too much? I've had conversations with people inside of like, well, what are your political, what is your vision for, are you going to run for an office? Right. Cause that's immediately where people go, like, that's the only job. Right. But I look at that and I'm just like, like I could, but there's so much that I've said on the internet that I don't think people are ready for, like having like somebody maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, you can definitely find things of me on the internet saying all kinds of things, and not to mention the wrestling itself, right? And just how much gets exposed during those bouts as well. So probably not, right? But yes, I get it, where you're just like, oh, maybe.
It might be a whole new fresh way for, to open up people's eyes in this world, right? Because it's, instead of being stuffy and, saying what people want to hear, we're actually speaking the truth, right? In a different way where different people can hear it.
Yeah.
Authentic, yes.
Authentic, yeah, which is really what it comes down to. And I think that so many people get kicked out of so many different arenas because they think that their authentic way of being is an unacceptable way of being. And that sucks, right? And maybe there are instances where that's the case, but I also think that those are opportunities for conversations versus something that people need to like push down, right? So
exactly. So when people, join us at the Kimbra, this is the conversations that we're going to have. We're going to be authentic, vulnerable, share from our hearts. That's who we are. Mm-hmm. We're real people that are, just wanting to have that community, like you said, and be able to share openly while having fun. and
Yes,
being free,
big
right?
element.
Being
Yeah.
just being free to be who we need to be in that moment. And it can change moment to moment, because I don't know about you, but I'm certainly different than I was 10 years ago, let alone 5 years ago, let alone last week, let alone today, right? It's I
Mhm.
evolve, and I would hope that other people would too, right? And that's what it's all about.
Right.
It's just evolving, because like in the Kimbra, some of the rituals that we do, it helps you evolve. It helps you get to that next level, right? Because that's all
Mhm.
about it. Like, we're either business people or people that want to make a difference in the world, and so we're there to help each other do that. So should I share that clip?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to share that clip.
Yeah. Let's share that video. Absolutely.
All
And
right.
I'll just set it up while you put it on, right? So this is a video that I just compiled real quick. It was back in 2022, like over a year ago at this point, that I just threw together of people sharing inside of the community about like some of their ahas or some of the things they're discovering. So and that's what this ended up being.
I'm gonna hold this up. So me tending to my numbers is gonna help me set up my foundation. I'm not gonna wait for the money to set up my foundation as a solid foundation for my root chakra and my sacral chakra. I'm gonna focus on setting myself up with a pleasurable way.
When I have to do the money things, instead of looking at it as like, oh, I have to do this, I hate this, it sucks. I've just started by starting it with I am very grateful that I have a money in my account and that I can do this, and this is a good thing. But I hadn't thought about adding, pleasure to it.
Let's get this time bender party started.
Weird thing, I think from my perspective, when I was in more of what I'll just call stagnation, I had this sense that it would just be if things were better, they would just be better, but it's like when you're engaged more, that doesn't mean everything's roses and unicorns. So yeah, it's been rough and there have been wins, and that's really all I have to share.
But she asked in the video, what are you looking forward to today? And for a while now, I think my subconscious avoided that question because I hadn't been looking forward to anything. And today was the shift, and it was I think I'm just looking forward to being alive. What the fuck's gonna happen? Doesn't matter what's gonna happen type of space. And I was that's pretty big.
It's actually more of a conversation around prioritization and becoming clear about what is truly important to me. And then furthermore, what is most important now.
Oh my goodness. I did so much this last month, this last week, the last 2 weeks. I am still dancing, still prancing, still on my toes, wearing these heckin' heels. Yes. And it's fine. Oh my goodness. So I coordinated a trip, I paid for aforementioned trip. I worked my butt off in advance of and after aforementioned trip. I brought so many presents. I got a lot done. I feel very accomplished. I think I did all 26 of the rituals for fulfillment, and what even is this?
Are you present to being a rainmaker?
I went in there with a plan. I was there's 20 people I want to see, but there's 3 people at companies that potentially could be interesting to work with. I left that meeting with 16 meaningful conversations. In the cab, I have Evernote. I made made notes. The very next day, I followed up with 16 people, and it was thank you on LinkedIn plus a Calendly link, which takes 2 seconds to copy and paste. And before I was even done with that hour, I had 3 meetings booked.
So it's really clear to me much more than it has ever been. Like how it is to be a rainmaker and to be sitting in that seat where no, I don't need to be doing the appointments or the, base conversations of getting people what they want. I'm in the conversation of putting people together.
So I used to be like this very unfriendly person. And this woman said she lives in my neighborhood and she sees me jogging all the time. And so she saw me jogging in this parking lot. And so she like hollered at me like, hey girl, or whatever, said something to me. And the reason that she knew it wasn't me was that the woman was unfriendly to her. And that's how she knew it wasn't me. And so like that transformation from the person that I used to be to the person that I am is like showing like that rain in that area of my life.
I went and I was actually the one that was able to make requests for other people that I couldn't make for myself before. And and it was really nice, and it almost seems like a dream, and it's like almost I want to say like you can't go back from that, but it's like, does that get to be my life? Where that's just how it is all the time.
Yeah, dude. That's a good video. What's uncanny about that video is I grabbed all of those shares from only a span of about a week and a half of Kimbra rituals, right? So we have 2 to 3 a week, right? And so, I grabbed, I think I visited 2 time benders, 1 money whisperer, and 1 frickin' rainmaker to grab all of those, like that high level quality, testimonial, authentic testimonial. I got everybody's permission. No worries, everybody, to share that back then, over a year ago or whenever I made that. But that's what I think is so amazing about watching that video, where I'm just like, oh, whoever made this video must have hunted for hours, gone through spans of weeks. No. That was that was our community and their shares inside the span of maybe 8-9 days, just to give you an idea. So
wow. And to me, it sounds like a lot of those people's their lives had changed
yes.
for the better. It wasn't just signing up for another membership. It wasn't that. It was signing up to actually change their life. They put the effort into it. They did the rituals. They did the 20%. They did the activities, the 20% to yield the 80% results. And had those life-changing moments all within 1 week of being within your programs.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, so the rituals, just so everybody is clear, they are just that. We're ritualistic in nature, right? So we have 3 different rituals that happen weekly or semi-weekly. Okay. So the money whisperer only happens twice monthly. Okay. And we do have every intention of bumping that up once our membership grows and there's more of a demand for it. Right. But so money whisperer, we have rainmaker every week on Wednesday. We have time bender. So rainmaker is where you increase your people resource, right? Do you need more team members? Do you need more customers? Do you need more grant money? Do you need, grant money might be money whisperer. Grant money also might be it, and so a lot of the actual, obviously they play with each other, don't they? And then we have the time bender, which is the expansion of the time, which is the space that I run. And I've been obsessed with expanding my sense of time since forever, because I've always wanted to do everything. And I was like, no, I will not be limited, right? And of course, I end up having my boundaries. They're not even limitations at this point. They're now boundaries, because I can actually deeply sense into my sensations in my body. Like, do I want to do this or don't I? And then have the foundation of just whatever it takes to say, no, I'm sorry, I don't have that. I don't have that available to me. Thank you though. Right. And then frequently trying to be like, let me see if I can help you inside of connecting you with other communities where this might be helpful. So really just learning how to be both of service, but also create the boundaries that you need in order to like expand time, quite literally. So, so yeah, I did want to like give everybody an idea, like a very like really high level of idea of what we follow inside of all of our rituals, such that if you were like, I'm not into community, I don't really want to be a part of this for whatever reason, that's cool, right? However, my highest recommendation is that if you want anything to grow, you do need to do some ritualization around it. Ritualization as in just bring intentional focus into it in some kind of way on a very regular basis. And so what I wanted to share was sort of the really like I'm imagining a house, right, that has just the beams up, right? The really like the core foundation pieces of what we build our rituals around, right? Because all three of us, the Money Whisperer, Rainmaker, Time Bender, are actually created by different people, but there was a foundational sort of outline that we all use inside of creating them. And I wanted to share that so that people watching this could, at the very least, if you're like, nah, bye, peace, I don't, never want to think about this again, at the very least, you could bring it with you and create your own ritualization around your own whatever you want to expand, right? Can be any of those topics or anything else, right? And so if Dorothy, if that's okay for me to dive into that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
cool.
Please.
Cool. Yeah. Because I think it gives everybody, well, and not only that, I've done this before and people are like, you're giving away the store. Don't share what you're utilizing foundationally inside of your systems and ritual that you're doing week after week, because then people don't need to come to the ritual, which I say, nay, that is not the case at all. I work in the movement and fitness industry, right? And I'm telling you, a lot of people know how to lose weight. A lot of people know how to build muscle. They know what it takes, but they're not doing it, right? And they're not doing it because, well, a variety of reasons. But I'm telling you, there's a level of community missing, accountability missing, fun missing, doing it 100% and the way integrity, doing it the way you know it needs to be done, right? Because like when I was doing the Time Bender ritual on my own before I actually introduced it as a product, I'd half-ass it some days, right? Like where I'd just be like, whatever. I'm just going to write down a couple successes, bye, right? But when you come into these spaces, it's this like, I don't know, this pod that has you really in that conversation. And what it creates is abundance and expansion like you wouldn't believe. So the first thing we do inside, or one of the things we do, and I think it's the first thing we do in all of them, honestly, but one of the things that we do inside of the rituals is we ground. We get grounded. Where are you? What are you doing? What actually happened? Like just sort of like, what are the containers we're working inside of? Set your own, what are your parameters, right? So we get grounded first thing in our body, in the space around us, in what's so, okay? Grounding, number one. The second thing we do, I think in all three, again, is we create a mindset, right? So we look at certain things that allow us to move from this part of our brain up to this part of our brain, which is where our higher level thinking resides, where all of the things that we as powerful humans can actually create shifts for ourselves, right? So just by thinking about how successful you've been this week, we suddenly shift where our focus goes, and where we put our focus is what grows. It's just that biologically, unfortunately, well, fortunately, no. We're not going to erase that. We're all alive because of this biology. Okay, right? But biologically, we're not, we're meant to look for what's wrong, how we failed, who effed up, right? And so biologically, we're here, and then we bring ourselves up here. So we create a mindset that's inside of the realm of empowerment and being powerful creators. Okay. So that's step 2, right? The next one it's kind of in different spaces, right? Inside of all 3 rituals based on who created the ritual, but we assess what happened. Okay. So now is when we start to bring in like who we're being, what's effective, what's not effective, why not, right? How could we do things differently? Not what will we do differently, but how could we do things differently? So we're really assessing the what so now. Critical judgment, all of that to it, right? Because then the next step is completion, right? So now we've put the judgment into it, and the looking, and the who are we being, and then we get an opportunity to complete all of that. And completion isn't a getting everything done phenomenon. It is a sense of neutrality in the body, neutrality all the way to like empowerment. But anything like less than neutrality, like anxiety, tension, overwhelm, anger, right? Like bringing that to neutral, so that like we are good with everything that happened and everything that didn't happen, and how we showed up to all of it. And we have different methods and ways of doing completion. And then after we get complete with all of that, then we create what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be actually like putting into the world. So that's the overview. And you can create any kind of ritual from those steps: grounding, mindset, assessment, completion, and creation.
Wow. And that's incredible, because, I didn't even really put that into perspective when I've been through. I will have to admit, I've done the Rainmaker ritual more than I have the Time Bender, because just the timing, and then I'll go back and watch it, because that's another thing too with your rituals. Yes, they are live at certain times, but we all know that we can't please everybody in the world. So you can always, once you have your membership, you can always go back and look at those rituals, right? Because I mean, it's the same structure, but it's never the same thing twice.
For sure. Yeah.
It's the same, like you said, structure, but other than that, it's never the same. I'm not gonna say episode, but you learn something new each week. Let's just put it that way.
Right. You learn it just from the week that you've had, because there's always learning opportunities in what you've just experienced, or you learn it through the people who are in the space, right? The community. Once again, the community is a huge piece. And the fact that we have a very vibrant community that does do a lot of sharing and is very, very present, I think makes a huge difference. And that wasn't always the case when we were first like really putting in the time and building, because nothing that we've done has been not from like just our own real authentic like blood, sweat, tears, and creation, right? And so through all of that, we've really molded something that I think is really special and original. And not something that money can just easily create.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
100%. So I have put in the comments how you can get a hold of the membership. Definitely, if you wanted to sign up, go to THEKIMBRA.com. So just go check that out. But where can people get a hold of you, Kara? Like if they're interested, because I mean, you are such a dynamo that, if they want like to learn more about your fitness business or some of the political stuff that you do, or, you know, even just talk to you about the Kimbra, where would you like them to contact you at?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have all kinds of ways that anybody can reach me. If it's Kimbra based, I think info at THEKIMBRA, THEKIMBRA.com is fine. Info at THEKIMBRA.com. That reaches me. I check that email daily. But then otherwise, if you want to go through social media, go find me directly. You're going to get a much quicker response from me personally than you will through like a Kimbra Facebook page or LinkedIn page. And you can find me on Facebook under Kira Elliott. And then you can find me on LinkedIn under Kira McCown. Elliott's just my maiden name. And then McCown is just my married name. And I think you can find me on both social media platforms under the other name as well. Because I want to be found, people. Okay. What do you want from me?
She wants to be found.
So I put both of the last names on there, right? So,
well, that's funny. That's why I hyphenated my name on all social media, because nobody knows me as Odell. Like my family doesn't know me as Odell, the old family, right? And people I went to school with, they don't know me by that. So, anyhow, that's
I try to be like obvious. I try to be as obvious as possible. Like you see my like Facebook page or my LinkedIn page, and it's just like a close up of my face, and then like all of the name. Like, yeah, you'll find me. Don't you worry. I've made myself findable. So,
and if you really can't find her after searching, just message me and I'll connect you to.
You can find me that way, and
I'm the connector.
I'm happy to chat with anyone. If you're interested in somatic movement. Comfyfitness.com. We have a really great online platform, similar setup to what we do in Kimbra, which is, we do restorative classes online that you drop into as a member. It is membership based. It's very affordable. It's awesome. And then just finding me personally, if you want to talk anything nutritionally related with supplements, I'd say just find me on social media. That's the best place. Facebook or LinkedIn. Yep.
Perfect. Well, we just want to thank all of our guests for being here with us today. And for those of you that are going to watch the replay later, thank you for joining us. And thank you so much, Kira, for spending your Wednesday night with us. We really appreciate you. And as you can tell, guys, you will have fun when you're in the rituals with Kira and Kimbra, because I'm telling you, this lady is wild and we love her. And that's what we love about her.
You'll have a few good laughs at the very least, right?
Exactly.
I will find a way to embarrass myself at some point, or say something that will probably make you be like, "What? Did she just really say that?" But you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that.
That's right. That's right. All right. Thank you so much again, Kira, for joining us tonight. And don't forget, guys, be unstoppable in all that you do. Join us Monday night with Dawn Hill. She will be sharing her horror story of her estate sale that is still in limbo, but she wants to make people know that things are happening that you should be aware of. So we'll just say that. Just join us Monday night at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time for that. Check out our YouTube channel, Unstoppable Overcomers, and our Roku channel, Unstoppable Overcomers. There's a lot of great treats in there for you guys. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast to us as well, because we're on there as well. And same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.